What's going on, people? Back with a bang. This is the Money Management, back here with another video for you guys today. Now in the past, recently, a few years ago, continuously I've seen so many terrible videos on YouTube on how to make money fast, how to make 10K in a month, how to make money without doing anything, all this kind of stuff. And to be honest with you guys, it was honestly disgusting how bad some of them were. And these are from big accounts, large accounts, so people will follow it and then they don't succeed like me, and then we come back and we're like, this is rubbish, this was terrible. But in today's video, I'll be showing you guys exactly how I made 75K within 3 months during the back end of 2020, going into the first couple months of 2021. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I did, how I got the ideas to do this, what made me want to do this, how I got to the point where I was able to make returns consistently, and what factors I changed and kept the same throughout the journey. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to explain it from the very first trade I made all the way to the very last trade I made. I'm going to explain all the factors for you guys today. Now, I do want to say something before I start. What I did is not something you can do every single month and expect these kind of returns every single 3 months. I'll be honest with you guys. Also, what I do want to say is, before we go into what I'm talking about, take the situations into consideration. We are in a pandemic, a lot of us were in quarantine, so we had more free time to ourselves. And that's how I took the initiative to make certain changes, to try new things out, and eventually these things did work for me and pretty well. So we're going to dive into all of that in just a second, but before we do that, please drop the thumbs up. You guys know the deal. Comment on the channel, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on the video. Hopefully you guys can take something away from today's video. Also, share these videos, get them out to more people. Show many people what is exactly is possible. And last but not least, please hit that red button below and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. But let's dive into the meat of today's video. So actually, I was a bit hesitant on making this video before I did, because I do understand the fact that we're in a global pandemic, times are hard right now, and I get messages all the time, I'm a mother of 3 kids, single mom, I've been working for years, I'm trying to do this and it's not working. Hey, do you know, how I can do this? I'm on my last 5K, I'm on my last few hundred, and I need to turn it to 15,000 within the next couple months. Hey, I'm becoming a father for the first time in summer. These are all requests I've actually read, so I know what I'm talking about. That's why I can say them so easily. But please do not rely on this video to make you 75K within 3 months. There's no guarantee it will do that for you. All I'm doing here is reciting exactly how I did it and showing you guys exactly from start to finish how it panned out. So let's dive into this. So I do want to start off by telling you guys the exact numbers, because it will definitely help you guys. So around mid-November, I had $3,432.55 in my stock portfolio. Now, until the middle of last month, that number rose up to $78,044.95. Yes, we went from 3,400 to over 78,000 within less than 3 months. So this journey, the 3 month period I'm talking about, is from the middle of November to December, December to January, and January to the beginning of February. So in less than 3 months, 75K, not bad at all. But I'm sure you guys don't care about that. You guys will probably want to know how it happened. So I want to start off by saying this. I have been learning about stock options for a while now, and I've been learning about the stock market for a while now. So, last year, while we were in pandemic, while we were in quarantine, not doing a lot, I took the time to learn stock options. Now, to cut my story short, I want to say this. I traded, I lost money. I traded, I won money. Eventually, I decided to stop and just focus on learning before I could eventually muster the courage to begin the journey again. So November, this is exactly what I did. So near the end of November, you guys might have actually seen my video on how to make $500 a day in the stock market. And that was pretty much what started all of this. Plug Power, ticker symbol PLUG, had their earnings call on November 9th. Now, I've told you guys multiple times, earnings have a really weird effect on stocks, and stocks usually go down. Exactly what happened with this stock is earnings was, I can't remember if it was good or bad, but earnings happened and the stock started to drop off. I think earnings was actually good. So the stock price started to drop, I think 11-12% in a day. The following day, the Tuesday, I remember it really well, I placed a call option on Plug. And if you guys want to know about call options, I'll explain that in my course, so go check that one out. But I placed a call option on Plug. Okay, so this here, because I know you guys like proof and feedback, and that's the right thing to want in this case. Here is a $21 call for Plug Power. I placed this $21 call on the 10th of November. This is what really kickstarted everything. I want you guys to know that. So 10th of November is the day after their earnings. Remember that. I showed you guys the picture of the earnings on the 9th of November. 10th of November, I placed a $21 call. By the 11th of November, I had more than doubled my money. So I put in 480, and at this point, my equity was $1,260. And I realized, hey, I'm onto something here. Because there's not many places you go in the world where you put your money in somewhere, and within a day, you've more than doubled it. Again, I put in 480 and I came back with 1260 within 1 day. So once I realized this, I thought, you know what? I can start to do this for multiple different stocks. American Airlines had a bad day. I went and I did the same thing. I placed a call option on it. This time I bought 10 contracts, and this time I came back with a 375% return. So I've almost quadrupled my money. And this is all the space within a few days. So right now I'm like, hold on. I kind of know what I'm doing now. You know, all the options studying I did, you can do as much studying as you want, but all the studying I did is now actually coming to play. I'm doing it and it's actually working. So this is my first day in England now. $1,352 was what I made that day. And it took my portfolio to 6,000. So that's a 29% return within one day. Of course, that's not going to happen, very often, but I've seen even better returns. You'll see going forward. But I realized, hey, not only have I made crazy returns, but I've done it back to back now. Surely I can take the wins, the gains I've made, and go and start reinvesting those gains, buying and holding stocks which are going for cheap, a discount, and also continuing to trade options, which is exactly what I did. So through the last week of November, I bought call options on Tesla, Moderna, and American Airlines. I know a lot of you guys know this, but there are probably new people watching this, so yeah, it's good for them to know. Of course, all these stocks had their ups and downs, but overall, they were up, on the week. Of course, that meant crazy returns for me. It wasn't always doubling my money, but a lot of the time it was because I placed short-term options. Now, going into December, of course, I had a huge confidence now. I had a different confidence. Add to the fact that I was on holiday and I was like, yes, I can make money from my bed. I can make money from my room. I can make money from my phone, and I'm going to continue doing it. I went in there with a nothing to lose attitude because I had nothing to lose. You have a $3,000 account and you're thinking, this isn't really a big account. I can start putting in money, and if it goes to zero, well, I lost $3,000. I'll survive. If it goes to, $5,000, $10,000, guess what? Well, I'm making money. I'm going to continue to do so, which is exactly what happened. So by the 3rd of December, I got that confidence and I continued to trade. 3rd of December was really a life-changing day. 3rd of December, I'll never forget that. I made $6,000 in one day. That was my first ever $6,000 day. My portfolio value doubled in that day. I went from a $5,900 account, something like that, to over an $11,500 account within one day. And the stock that did it for me, because I know you're going to ask, is Lemonade. Lemonade, ticker symbol LMND. With Lemonade stock, I put in $1,110 to buy 3 contracts, and I ended up with over $8,700 of equity. So I put in $1,000 pretty much and came back with $9,000. At this point, I'm noticing, what I'm doing is working. And I did not change my strategy. I know a lot of you guys out there will say, oh, why didn't you dump in, 5K, 10K instead of these 1Ks? Nope. You rinse and repeat the exact same strategy. That's exactly what I did. Because it's a mental game. A lot of you guys don't understand, this is a mental game. If you continue to do the same thing over and over again, you will get the same results. If you switch it up and put in more money, or try and do a longer term call or a shorter term call with less money, with different strike price or a shorter term expiry or whatever you may do, that's going to mess you up mentally, because you're not going to know when to take money out. You're not going to know, if you want to hold it longer. You're going to get excited. You're going to get overwhelmed. Don't do that. Keep the same strategy and do it over and over again, which is exactly what I did. Put in money, a pretty short term call, take the money out within a few days. It was like swing trading, but options version. I did this and I continue to do this. 7th of December came, again, a huge day for me. Over a $4,000 day, and my account was up over 36%. Now bear in mind, literally 2 weeks before that, I had literally 3.5K in my account. Now I got to the point where one day I made over 6K in a day, and a couple of days later I made over 4K in a day. So I'm making more in a day than I previously had in my whole account for a few months. That's why I say this experience was really life-changing. I realized what was possible, and I continued to do the same thing over and over again. I looked for stocks which were hot. I looked for stocks which had been down on the day, and I traded those stocks. I put call options on them. That means saying the price would go up. And if they didn't go up, because not every single trader will be a winner, if they didn't go up, I would cut my losses quickly. If they did go up, I'd take my profits and continue to let them run. Or I'd even let them run a little bit more before I was happy with my profits, and then completely take all the money out and move on to the next stock. I didn't hang around in there for too long. I didn't wait around. I didn't let my money fall from $1,000 to $100. If I saw my money drop from $1,000 to $700 or $600, I'd cut my money out straight away and move on. A lot of you guys out there will make this mistake. You put $1,000 in something. It goes to $500. You're like, I'm going to continue to hold it. It goes to $400. I'm going to continue to hold it. It goes and ends up being $10. You lost all your money. If you see it drop to $800, $700, you don't want to handle that anymore, cut your losses and move somewhere else. That's exactly what I did. Every single stock that you see that I show returns of, that I show wins of, I would not have got those wins without cutting losses on other stocks on time. That's one thing I really want to highlight today. Now, I will show a few of the wins on screen while you guys are looking, but I do want to highlight the overall importance of December as a month. In the month of December alone, I made over $24,000. Of course, you guys can imagine that it was a life-changing month. And you know what I thought? Wow, I'm never gonna see a month like this again. But January came by and we flew past that. January, 38K was made in January. Again, I rinsed and repeated the same strategy. And there's a reason that this continued to work, because you had to take in consideration the time period we were in. That time frame was during a bull market, and it continued till a couple of weeks ago actually. But it was easier to make money then, so I doubled down on my strategy. Meaning, instead of putting in 600 now, I put in 1,000. Where I used to put in 1,000, I put in 2,000. I didn't go crazy, but I just did that. Again, more wins, more returns. I did not get to the point where I decided to put 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 into one stock option, into one play. Nope, because I know it's a mental game. All I did was continue to put as much as I could afford to lose as I could afford to risk. That was it. I know this is a lot of information to take in, but I do want to highlight that during December, there were days where certain stocks I had bought call options on did dip quickly, but I knew because I had them set with a far enough expiry that I could hold on to them long enough. I remember the day before Christmas, my portfolio dipped heavily. I'm not really sure what went on that day, but I knew I was not going to sell out of my call options that day. Of course, the stocks in my portfolio also dipped, so you have to take that into consideration. I was down around 3K on that day. The week after, it all bounced back and the money came back. So there's an important lesson there. Sometimes you do have to hold through the negative, even if you see your stocks drop heavily. But again, you need to know when to cut losses. There were stocks there that I knew if they reached a certain point, I would cut losses. But again, because it was the day before Christmas, I knew the market was a bit strange. I didn't exactly know why, but I knew something like this could have happened. But I knew I'm going to hold these through until next week, until at least the beginning of January, before I decide to cut losses, which is exactly what I did, again, to my benefit. So first week of January comes around and I'm still doing the same thing over and over again. I want you guys to remember that. I used the same strategies and that was the smartest thing I could have done. Use the same strategies to make profit over and over again. But yeah, first week of January comes out. The very first trading day of 2021 was the 4th of January. Now, the 7th of January, I had my biggest day ever in the market. I made just under $14,000 within one day in the stock market. I'm serious. I have the proof for you guys. I'll put it on screen. But that was about 74% of my portfolio in one single trading day. So 14K made, I was pretty happy, of course. But it didn't mean that I would stop. I've been actively trading options 2 months and I thought, you know what? Continue this, let it keep going. The very following day, the 8th of January, which was a Friday, I still remember it, I came away with over an $8,300 gain on that day. So it's like the 8th of January, I made 8K. Funny enough, the 11th of January, well, I made 11K within a day. And I'm definitely going to put all these screenshots on screen when I edit this video because I remember these numbers and I'm going to show you guys the exact proof. So 11th of January, I made 11K in a day. Now at this point, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. Find a method that works for you. I looked at stocks which had been down heavily. I looked at stocks which had just announced earnings and I traded call options on them. I placed a short-term expiry, I'd say 30 to 38 days. And with these call options, I made sure that if these stocks dropped far enough, I'll cut my losses. If they didn't, I'll let them ride out. And many times what I did was take profit on time and let the rest run. So I made sure that everything else, whatever would happen, it happens. It's okay, I move on. But January started amazing. First 11 days, made crazy gains, and I continued to do the same thing throughout January. Now, middle of January, something very, very interesting happened. You guys may remember GameStop. I don't think you guys can forget that one. GameStop. I heard some interesting news from a short seller, Andrew Left, and I was also hearing murmurs of Reddit and Wall Street bets, and I was thinking, you know what? I want to be involved in this, and what I've been doing so far with call options has been going pretty well, but I do not want to blow my whole account. So I was very sensible with this. I said, you know what? I'm going to put a call option on it. GameStop was about $39, $40. I said, I'll put a $44 call option on it and I'll only put in $600, a stimulus check. I can risk that, We just got money from the government. January 12th, I received mine. I said, I'll put this $600 in and I'll see how it goes. If I lose $600, I don't mind. I don't mind losing that whole 600, but I'm not going to put in 1,000, 2,000 because I don't want, this frenzy which could happen to go wrong. Well, maybe some of you guys will tell me you should have put more. I was happy with what I put. And I came back with an $8,400 return. I put in 600, I left with $8,400. I cannot complain. So that also turned out pretty well for me. So I placed that trade on the Wednesday. The following Monday, I took my money out when GameStop hit about $124, $125 because it had tripled since when I bought it. The next couple of days, it went to like 380, 480. It's fine. I made my profit and I left. I kept with the exact same strategy I've been using constantly. That is what you need to remember here. Many people would have left their money in, rode GameStop all the way to 480 and left the money, continued to leave their money. And when it crashed back down to 100, 95, 65 within a week, well, there all your gains are gone. And that is exactly why I say it's a mental game. Me in the past, me 6 months ago would have said, you know what? I've made, almost 10,000 with GameStop now. I'm going to let it continue to run up and up and up. Nope. Me of today, the person who wants to make money, the person who wants to succeed in the market, I took that money and I said, you know what? I've almost made 10K off $600 off one stimulus check. I can be more than happy with that. That's a load of different clothes. That's a new car. That's a few months rent. That is a lot of different things. That's a few different new phones. That is a lot of things. You have to remember that. Again, a lot of people say you should have let it continue to rise. You don't know what's going to happen with these stocks. You make your money, especially in 3-4 days, you leave. And I continue to do that throughout the whole 3 months. So January was a really strong month for me. Actually, I had my biggest week ever in the market in January. I made 38K within 1 week. Obviously, that money declined a little bit, but I had my biggest week ever. And I do want to say that was down to me doing the same strategy over and over again. I did not change it. Many people would change their strategy. I want to highlight that I did not change my strategy. But I do want to highlight that the 37K week in January was unrealized. So I didn't cut profits. So I think it ended up being about 20 something K during that week, but it's fine. Throughout the month of January itself, I made 38K. So that's fine. Again, rinse and repeat the same strategy. So throughout January, I saw multiple 10K days. I was very pleased with that, but I thought, you know what? I need to continue this with going into February. February now rolled around. And what did I do? The same thing I'd been doing over and over again. This is why if something is working for you, you don't change it. Now, the only difference I did this time was add some money into cryptocurrencies. So I bought a little bit of Ethereum, bought 5K worth of Dogecoin. And the reason I started February so well is actually Dogecoin hit highs of I think 8 cents or 9 cents. And so the 5K I put in there ended up being about 8.7K. Again, this was something that I could afford to lose. I could afford to lose that 5K because I'd made so much over the past couple months. So I did that. I put in that 5K. Today, I'm still holding it. It's just over 5K now. But my point is, you're making money, you're making profits, you take profits. With Dogecoin, I'm holding it for long term, so I'm okay with that. With stocks, if you're doing this, you've got to take profits on time. If you want to hold things long term, that's fine. Then you be prepared to not be able to use that money. Of course, it's tied up until you sell. Also consider here that I'm diversifying. I'm putting money in different places. I'm trying different things out, all to make my money grow. So February rolled around, 2 months down, a lot of different plays have been made, a lot of money has been made. And now this month was honestly carried by Virgin Galactic, ticker symbol SPCE. I put in $2,500 into this stock. I ended up leaving with just under 30K. Now that's in like over 1,000% return, but I do want to highlight again, you're not going to see this constantly. This trade worked well for me because I knew what I'd been looking for. I heard a little bit of rumors, I'd been looking at the news, and I thought this stock could be shooting up soon. I bought $31 call options and eventually the stock shot up to $60, $61. So my money just skyrocketed. Again, this helped me. You might call it luck, you might call it research, whatever. I've been doing the same thing since the end of November all the way through to February, and it was working, so I continued to do so. February also saw a few different 10K days. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, this is becoming normal to me. Again, November, I had less than 3.5K in my account. By December, I'm seeing a few different 5K, 6K days. By January, I'm seeing my highest day ever, 14K in a day. By February, I'm seeing multiple 10K days, and it's normal to me. So what I want to highlight here, because I know you guys are tired of hearing over all the wins. That's not important to you guys. You want to know how to do it. You want to know what's relevant. You want to know just how you can make even the slightest amount of that money. It all comes down to financial discipline and smart investing. That will get you very far. Financial discipline, knowing when to cut losses, knowing when to take profits, not being too greedy, not waiting, not jumping into a stock, being patient. That is financial discipline. Smart investing, putting your money into things that you can afford to lose, putting your money into stocks that you know about. If you guys tell me you didn't know that much about GameStop, yes, that's why I only put $600 into it. If I put in 5K, 10K, yes, I would have made tons and tons of money, but I didn't know a lot about it. That is smart investing. Financial discipline, seeing your stock shoot up 1,000% and deciding, okay, I'm cutting profits here, I'm going away. Even if the stock doubles the next day like it did with GameStop, I'm okay. I'm not going to cry and say, oh, I could have got more money. That's greed. That's not smart investing. Everyone here needs to know what I've shown today is possible. I'm trying to open you guys' eyes to exactly what is possible. There are so many people who think they're too young, or they're not experienced enough, or they've never done it before, so they can never do that. I had a less than 3.5K portfolio, and I went and made 75K within 3 months. I'm telling you guys, this is what is possible when you apply yourself, when you invest smart, when you have that financial discipline. I know not everybody's going to make these kind of returns, and I know it's not sustainable. I'm not going to make 75K every 3 months for the next year or two. I know that, but I'm showing you guys, starting with a little bit of money, you can make a lot happen. A lot of people did tell me it was luck in November, and I thought, you know, it might be luck. December came around, I did the same thing. January came around, and I did more. February came around, and I did even more. After a while, I realized, okay, it's not luck. You know what you're doing. Those months of research, which nobody saw, ended up paying off. And I'm happy now because even though the market has dropped heavily, I know what's to come in the future. And when that comes, trust me, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to make that money. I'm happy because this has been a life-changing 3 months. You know, I could never have imagined to do that. I could not have. You know how close I was to making 100K within 3 months? Extremely close. If I'd been a little bit more greedy, then I could have made it happen. But I'm okay with that because I chose financial discipline over greed. And I honestly hope this motivates somebody out there to do the same, or even more than me. If you guys out there go and make 30K within your first month, and then within 3 months you're at 90K, I'm happy for you guys. Because I know this has been life-changing for me, and I know how much it meant to me when I was seeing it happen, when I was, making it happen, and I really thought, wow, all the research, all the practice, all the effort I put into this is finally paying off. So that's also why I made a stock options course called Stock Options Starter Pack. You guys can go and feel free to check that out. It is only 69 bucks right now, but the price is going up very, very soon. We're also taking affiliates, so if you guys have seen my work, you guys have seen the results, I'm going to put as many screenshots as I can in this video to show you guys the proof. And I ensure you guys that this video is going to make a difference in people's lives. Whether it happens now, whether it happens in a few years, people are going to look back on this and say, okay, this is really what's possible. Be patient, be disciplined, be smart, and apply yourself. Without taking action, you're never going to make it work. And if you do need a little bit of guidance, I'm going to say it again. My stock options course is there. If you can spend, less than 100 bucks and make back thousands for your next few months, I'm sure you'll be happy. If you can spend 69 bucks and make back that 69 bucks within a day, even if it's within a week, it's okay. 10 videos in there, 3 different sections, over 3 hours of content I've made for you guys. Please go and check this out. This video I've made was free, but if you'd like to see more stuff like this with an in-depth analysis, showing you guys how I did what I did, showing you guys how I look at charts, what I do during markets open, please go and check that course out and feel free to ask me if you want to be an affiliate. I really hope you guys could take something away from today's video. It really meant a lot to me to make this video. We'll see what happens going forward. If I do another similar thing like this, then yeah, I'll probably make another video like this within the near future. I know it's possible now. I'm so happy. You guys can probably see it. I'm extremely happy that I made this happen, and it's been a life-changing experience. I just hope that other people can do the same and say, you know what, I saw that video, it motivated me, it inspired me. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. That's it for me today. Again, check out that course. Also check out all the other links in the description. Feel free to DM me on Instagram at @TheWealthPrince if you have any questions. I'm happy you guys tuned in today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time for another video. Peace.
Game over.